Hi Gemini, welcome to your solar eclipse in Leo special with me, Raphael from Reydiant.reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. So before we start, if you want to book a personal tarot reading with me, you can do so on the email address below. If you haven't already, please check out the Retrogradia, a mini series. It's 3 videos that I've posted, and it's about a really intense period of 6 planets retrograde that are going to be taking place in August between the 7th and the 19th. It's a short window, but it's going to create a lot of massive change off the back of during the eclipse season as well. So before we start, sales pitch over, I would like to bless these notes and the cards that I'm about to use with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So it's worth mentioning, a solar eclipse is about a beginning. It's an initiatory energy. It brings something into our lives or allows us to welcome something in. Now, what always accompanies a solar eclipse is a new moon. A new moon is a time of beginnings. It's the time where you plant the seeds of the things that you want to grow in and of your life. Now, Leo itself represents the heart and the backbone. It's about having courage, it's about having strength, but it's also about observing what you're truly passionate about, what you're emotive about, what you want to put your heart and soul into, and what you're willing to put your name or your courage or your backbone into. Now, a solar eclipse brings an event that usually is outside of what we can anticipate. It welcomes something into our lives. And it's worth noting as well that Mercury, this little guy here, is going to be retrograde in the sign of Leo, conjunct the solar eclipse. So what's happening there is Mercury rules your thought processes, all the things that you think about. It's your communication, it's what you say, what other people say, and all of the stuff in between. It's everything from social media right through to text messages and letters, all of that stuff. It's all communications in all forms. But it also represents siblings, short trips, and even pets as well, like small pets. Some say. So it's worth looking at this. Then the solar eclipse is going to start making us really think about what we communicate, how we communicate. It's also worth noting as well, as a Gemini, this is happening in your 3rd house, and the 3rd house is actually ruled by Gemini, so it's all to do with communications. And one of the things that I really believe is this is going to be about how other people view you, but more importantly how they talk to you, how they communicate with you, and how they communicate about you. And it will see you really vocal, really speaking up about why do you view me like that? You'll be questioning anything and everything. It's a brilliant time for you, actually. Once the solar eclipse has taken place, the energy of welcoming something in, it's a great time for you to think about something that you want to study, for learning new skills of any type, or bringing something into your life that's going to be able to help you further down the line, or create or do something, or even become something that you've always dreamt of becoming. Also, off the back of the lunar eclipse and this bringing something in, that energy is probably going to start to be felt quite a lot now. So what I want to say to you is, now that things and people start jumping ship and leaving, don't pay it too much mind, because you're going to have so much other stuff coming in that you won't have time to worry about what and who is leaving your life. And ultimately, if they're leaving, especially off the back of a lunar eclipse, whatever or whoever it is that's leaving your life is supposed to do so. It's also worth mentioning, it can see you very outspoken and really wanting to get to the heart of what people say to you, but especially about you. And it can also see you really questioning everything, as I said. It's a great time for studies. The trine between Venus and Mars will see you working really hard at self-promotion, but it can see you doing it in a way that helps you come across as the best you. So it's not going to be like a hard sales pitch. I mean, if you work in sales, the next 6 months ahead are going to be great for you, because your communication is going to be on point and at peak. Certainly once the Mercury retrograde goes, it's just use that energy in the wise way, because Venus is going to be there smoothing off the edges for you. It's going to give you that energy going forward. And the Mars is going to make you confident enough to believe in whatever it is that you're offering or whatever it is that you're selling. So which is great. And then lastly, to just mention, this event of solar eclipse conjunct Mercury retrograde is going to be squaring Jupiter. Now, a square, I always say, is it's the type of energy that makes you uncomfortable enough about something that you dislike to do something about actually changing it. Squares provide, you know, squares are not an easy energy. In fact, the squares are the ones that everyone's like, oh, the squares, or the oppositions. So, you know, they tend to be the most challenging. But actually, they're the most rewarding because they teach you to master something, or they teach you to think about ways. In a Leo aspect, you know, be creative, give yourself over to joy, give yourself over to pleasure. Using your communications, this could see you getting really focused on where your heart is. Are you speaking from the heart? Are you communicating who you really are and what you really want? And are you doing it in the right way? It can see you really attuned to other people's wants and needs in terms of what their heart's desires are as well. Jupiter expands. It grows, it adds fire, it adds, you know, air to the flames and all the rest of it. It will give you more expansion and more growth in that sector. But because it's a square, it's going to bring that uncomfortable energy, and it will force you to grow, but it will also force you to start communicating who you really are and what your heart's desires really are. And I say that because Scorpio is the sign that represents our deepest desires, the things that, you know, that really motivate us at a core level that we might not necessarily share. Now, when that square is happening conjunct Mercury, you know, solar eclipse, especially in the sign of Leo, what are your heart's truest and deepest desires, and how can you communicate them in an open and honest way? Leo's ruled by the sun. The sun brings everything to light, you know, and it's asking you to do that. Bring your truest heart's desires to light. Be honest, be open and kind about your communications, and ultimately, you know, good things can happen because people will be really hearing you for what you want to say, and they'll be seeing you for, you know, for who you truly are. Also, for those of you that have siblings, and because the third house also rules neighbours as well, this could see a couple of dust ups going on between neighbours, and any sibling rivalry that's currently taking place could really be amplified under this energy. So 3 days before and 3 days after, certainly, if you can, bite your tongue and call it, and then approach it from a more heart-spaced and heart-based approach. You know, if you can do that and stop it from getting heated, it will be more beneficial for you, because some of this stuff and the way that it's configured could possibly spill over into your work. And, you know, that's true of all of us. If we have a bad time at home, when we then go out into work, it's hard not to bring that stuff with you. So just be conscious of that and think, you know, think before you speak, especially because, you know, this is happening in your house of speech. It's happening in your third house. So what is your tarot message for the eclipse? You get the Chariot card. This is success, it's victory. It means that events are going to unfold very quickly. You know, it sees you really thinking to yourself, okay, I need to be smart about this, but it sees you really achieving a goal, especially for those of you that want to study, or those of you that want to go after or acquire any new skills, or, you know, those of you that are taking exams that are going to put you in better stead to have a better job or a better existence of your work life. This can be really beneficial for you. It's just about using the energy consciously. Gemini, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Have an amazing solar eclipse. Let me know how it shapes up for you in the comments. I love interacting with you guys there. Take care, and I'll see you very soon for more videos.